Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about supplementation for HA and for trying to conceive, specifically my supplementation. The purpose of this whole video is really just to, share my experiences. It's my channel, I'll do what I want. And also just to kind of show you what it looks like when you get testing done and get supplementation recommendations that are specific to you and your goals, versus just like popping a multivitamin or a prenatal. And people who are curious about a newer kind of testing, hair tissue mineral analysis testing, and just like how invasive it is, how effective it is, and just like what a fellow woman is doing for herself. I have had HA, I have videos about my recovery from it, but I remain really sensitive. It's really easy for me to slip back into that and get HA again. And I miss periods all the time. And then also my husband and I are like prepare to conceive. So I just wanted to start on the road to that. And I, went to my nutritional therapy practitioner and I asked her like, what's a good prenatal or something that I should take? And she was like, let's test you for what you actually need versus just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. So we did. So I recently started a new protocol of supplements and everything as a result of the testing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the testing. So my NTP, a quote from her website explaining the test is this. I have my notes with me. In short, it's an awesome, affordable, non-invasive, highly accurate hair sample test that reveals mineral imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, and heavy metal toxicity, all of which can have a drastic impact on your health. So she has a really great article on hair tissue mineral analysis, and like why you want one, how to get one. So I'm going to link that in the show notes. So using that test, we were able to get some information about my mineral deficiencies and where I need work. So to take the test, I had to cut off some of my hair. It was kind of scary, but it's fine. Like I've never noticed that it's missing. It's such a small amount of hair. And it really just depends. Everyone's hair weighs differently. So if you have thick hair like me, less will go further. So cut that off, put it on a scale, make sure it's enough, seal it in an envelope and send it to the lab. And about 2 weeks later, she had the results and she took me through them and what they mean. So it was really easy, really quick, and really cheap. It was like $170. Again, the important thing to note is that this prescription is for me. I'm just showing you what I'm taking. Taking these for you could be like completely detrimental to you. So it's important that you take what works for you, but I'm just going to share what I'm doing. And so far I feel great. I'll do an update another time about like the long-term effects of all of that. But here is where we're starting. Vitamin E. When you work with an NTP, they usually have like a full script program. So they'll prescribe something to you and then you can just click a link and order all online, which is great. And then your local NTP also gets like a kickback from you buying on their script. So I think you should always do that just to support them. So I'm using this vitamin E. I take one of those every day with breakfast. Same with this manganese. I might be saying that wrong. It helps the mitochondria of the cells metabolize glucose. Now it's also required for tendon and ligament function, energy production, and thyroid activity, so it does a lot. It also says here that it's necessary for the lactobacillus, so that's telling me something gut related. So one of those with breakfast. And then this one I think was the most important for me, liquid chlorophyll. So fun fact, chlorophyll is actually what makes plants green. So I take 6 drops of this in the morning and 6 drops of this at night in 1 ounce of water, and it turns the water bright green like a plant and it tastes like plant. So it tastes like drinking plants. But this was important for me because my biggest deficiency was in copper. I mean, you look at iron and copper together, never separately, and my iron was through the roof overproducing because copper just wasn't showing up. I had really low copper, and my NTP was really excited because the correlation between people with very low copper, like the number one correlation was amenorrhea, no period. So she was really excited to see that. It sounds really promising. So taking this should really help with my copper absorption going forward. It looks like I wasn't absorbing any of the copper that I was taking in from whole foods. So this should help with that. I'm very excited to see how that goes. So to recap what copper is important for, since I was so deficient in it, it is required for connective tissue health, women's fertility, cardiovascular health, blood formation, energy production, neurotransmitter activity, and the immune system. So like many minerals, it's a big hitter, does a lot of things. Okay, beef liver capsules. So desiccated beef liver capsules is one of the easiest ways to get liver in. Liver is super important. It's like the fertility food. I mean, we're all just meant to be getting this in our diet. None of us are, because it tastes super gross. But I like this one. It's completely Australian made. I mean, there's definitely something about products that like Australia is just like a marketing tactic. There's so many brands over here in the US of stuff that's like it's like Aussie made or then has Australian in the name or something like that. And then you look at it and it's made in the US. So there's something about if you put Australia on the label, it must sell better or something. But anyway, this brand, Grassland Nutrition, this brand is 100% made in Australia. So I take 6 of those a day, 3 in the morning, 3 at night. The last prescription is GI Revive. So we're thinking that I'm not absorbing a lot of my nutrients because I might have a slight gut health issue, which totally breaks my heart because I am very cautious. I take very seriously what I eat. I eat a whole foods diet. I don't eat a lot of processed stuff. But at the end of the day, sometimes gut health issues can come from other things. So probably have a little bit of a gut health situation or leaky gut syndrome happening, which is causing a few mineral imbalances for me. So I'm doing one bout. When I finish this tub, I won't take any more of it, but I'm having that in the morning before I have breakfast. And it's peach flavor. It's sufficiently tolerable. I just put it in like 4 ounces of water and then just chug it because I do not like the taste of supplements at all. Lastly, I have this from my previous prescription for HA. So the first time we did some testing, I got some different things prescribed to me at the time, and that did help me get my period back. But I'm taking this anyway just to finish the bottle because I think it can't hurt. So it's called hypothalamus adrenal pituitary drops. I mean, it's in the name, y'all. Hypothalamus, pituitary, all my problems come from the hypothalamus. So I just put those under my tongue, 10 drops under my tongue every day. And supposedly, it helps with a lot of things. Like if you're starting to feel yourself getting sick or like run down, a few of these drops should help. What they have inside of them, it has a lot. And I have honestly got no idea what it means. Like active ingredients, Baribus vulgaris, phosphorus, cinchona officinalis, like adrenal, hypothalamus, pituitary. I don't know how you can have hypothalamus in it or pituitary in it. Beats me. If you know the answer to that, let me know in the comments. But I was at a point where I just want to like be given the instructions and not overthink it and just follow them. So I have Professional Formulas hypothalamus adrenal pituitary drops. So that covers it for my supplement regime. But then also I was going to go over a couple other additional recommendations that I was given. And this is the cool thing about working with a nutritional therapy practitioner is they don't just like throw a bunch of prescriptions at you. They also give you some like holistic nutritional advice around timing, food pairings, that kind of thing. And I'm not a big fan of that in general, of like never eat this kind of thing and never do this after this time. But my NTP's recommendations are always explained to me like why they're for me. They're not necessarily blanket recommendations that she throws at everyone. And, I'm just going to follow the protocol and be a good patient and not say this isn't working if I haven't tried everything. So my other recommendations for my unique needs are always eating carbs with protein and never by themselves. So she believes that my body's having a hard time metabolizing carbohydrates, which is actually causing me to hold on to body fat, which is interesting. We'll see what happens there, but we're not doing this so I can like lose weight or anything. It's just an interesting side effect of what happens if your body isn't metabolizing carbs very easily. So we're going to see, I guess basically what I'm saying is if that works, then that theory was true. Eat dairy every day, super easy for me. I eat dairy every day as it is. So she's thinking raw cheeses, organic whole milk, that kind of thing. So I'm working those into my diet and I'm happy. I will say though, actually, I'm feeling a little bit more like weird digestion stuff happening, but because I'm taking so many new supplements, I'm not 100% sure which one it is, but we'll see if those go away. But I might need to revisit something in my protocol if the digestion issues keep happening, because prior I didn't have any problems with digestion, but I mean, I'm eating a lot of brand new things, I'm taking a lot of new supplements, so it might just take some time. And I'm not feeling sick or anything, so that's fine. Okay, 2 more. They're pretty interesting. One is to eat a raw carrot every day for hormone balance and detoxification. So I know that this is because of the beta carotene in carrots. It's super high. So it's potentially just a way for me to avoid taking another pill and getting more beta carotene in a whole foods form, which is something that I was deficient in. And giving blood every 6 months to detoxify excess iron. I have always had really high iron levels, and they're just like, do eat a lot of meat. And honestly, at this time for about a year or so, I've probably only eaten meat once a day, max twice, just because I eat a lot of like yogurt in my meals, or I'll have like a little bit of meat in my lunch, or I'll eat eggs or something like that, which I know have iron and probably count as meat, but I just haven't been eating a ridiculous amount of meat. I just have really high iron. So giving blood allows me to literally remove some iron-filled blood and have my body produce more. And if I'm supplementing at the same time and evening out those levels, it should produce blood that doesn't have this high iron level, I suppose. So that's pretty cool. I've been meaning to do it anyway. I'm O negative, which is the universal blood type, so I know they need my blood anyway. So it was a win-win-win for everybody. Okay, this is my regime right now. I'll give you an update on how things go later, but hopefully this helps me maintain my period a bit better and have an easier time conceiving, which who knows when that will be. But I mean, we're technically trying right now, but it could be really hard. My cycles are all over the place. We're doing fertility awareness tracking and my cycles are very erratic. So who knows what's going to happen, but I'm hoping all of this stuff helps. So I hope that this encourages you just to go and get some testing done. If it's something you're on the fence about, do I need that? Can I just take a bunch of pills and see what happens? Yeah, it's super uninvasive. It's really empowering to feel like you know what you are specifically deficient in. It takes away the wonder, and it also just puts the problem in someone else's hands, which is nice. So you can just follow their instructions, put trust in them. Yeah, you should get testing and find out what you need to supplement with. And lastly, my NTP who I work with, she works all over the world. She's like, she works entirely remotely. So if you're interested and you're like, well, how do I find an NTP that will do this hair mineral analysis test or whatever it is that I need, you can use my NTP. I had her on my podcast, the Adulting Advice podcast, a few months ago, and she offered listeners 15% off a consultation if you mention the Adulting Advice podcast. I don't get a kickback from that or anything. I just am happy to share that with you. I know like hearing all of this stuff is a great idea, but who do I go and talk to? So I did a bunch of research. I found her. It's been really great. She gives 15% off. A lot of people have used that discount too, which is super cool. So it's been working really well for everyone. Contact her. I'll do the link in the show notes. Her name is Laura Lyons of Wild Lions Wellness. Otherwise, yeah, find a nutritional, or it's now called a functional nutrition therapy practitioner in your area. Ask if they do hair mineral analysis tests, if that's what you want to do, and get started and let me know how it goes, because I don't know a lot of people who have done it and I'm curious. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, say hi. I would love to meet you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.